Hello, so I'm back with another video. It's 2:14 p.m. It is October 17th. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So, of course, my brain never shuts down, ever. And I wish it would. And, I think this could be, I love the fact that I have an active mind, but my active mind sometimes messes with my schedule. This is how I am. This is who I'm built, how I'm built. I fully accept it. I try to explain myself to everyone because, you know, um, unlike when you're like at a regular 9 to 5 job, you have more time to, you know, um, sit back and start thinking about things. And when I'm at like a workplace, I know I'm on someone else's time, and I devote all my thoughts to that job. Unless, of course, I get like some weird flash to where like I get a sense that somebody's doing something towards me or something, then it comes to me. But other than that, my brain is completely focused on whatever. But while I'm here at my home, I'm sitting here already. My mind is blown about this whole thing, about me being spawn, of this beautiful prince. And so that is mind blowing. You know what I mean? Um, so much so that, like I said, it just the questions just keep popping up my mind. But I think I got it. I understand what happened, and I think it's wonderful. It's like wow. I mean, that's like how can I say that? I can't say really a dream come true because I never ever thought in a million years that that would be even possible. Even possible. Like I said, I remember watching and reading several things about people being cloned and stuff like that throughout the years. And I mean, although I was reading it and taking it in, I never realized that I could possibly be one of those people. You know what I mean? So it's mind blowing. All these years I thought that I was related to my father, and I appreciated the background of his ancestors. And even though his ancestors had very humble beginnings, I did have an appreciation for it, and I felt proud to be. Even though I know my father came from a very what I call like a struggling line, I can understand their struggles, but they did what they had to do in order to survive. And I always respected and loved my father's stories that he told me when he was a kid. And to me, that was my life. That was a part of who I was. And then to find out, it's just like, I tell you, throughout this entire thing, throughout this whole experience in my life, it's always been like these people would just get like jack shit out of my life. You know what I mean? And then I felt like a real deep pain when I came to that realization that there was no blood link between me and my adopted father. And I felt like now you're just yanking the world out from underneath my feet. But anyway, love is something that um, bonds people. And I love my father, and I'm talking about my adopted father, and there's nothing that's ever going to change that. So, but it is. I got to tell you, it's like really cool to know that that I am. And then I started thinking about you know, the bloodline going back and the bravery of his father. Um, he was an amazing man, and I respect his stance because I see a lot of me in the emperor. Very strong. Will not take no for an answer. Basically, he went down, but he went down on his own. He made that decision, and I respect that, and that shit's in my blood. But anyway, I can see where I get my strength. I know that the prince had supposedly he's related to King Solomon. King Solomon was the wise king that I think everyone's familiar with the story, where there was two women. They were arguing over this infant, and you know the lady who didn't, you know, was not the parent. She didn't have a problem when the wise King Solomon suggested having the baby cut in half. Now, obviously, nobody's going to be able to enjoy a baby that's cut in half because, of course, the baby would be dead. But he did this because he wanted to see exactly who the true mother was. Because the true mother cried out and said, just go ahead and give it to the other lady. King Solomon was very wise in his decisions, and he didn't mind taking, I don't think he would have actually sliced that baby, but I'm just saying is he didn't mind taking on difficult subject matters, you know what I mean? And he solved them wisely and quickly, Um, so I can see this in myself, and I can understand when you're someone like myself. This is not bragging, okay? Because I know people think, oh, when she's saying things, she's bragging. I'm not bragging. This is just the facts, okay? And this is one of the reasons why I deal with a lot of bullying because, I have to be around people who don't understand this sort of intellect. You know what I mean? And it is something that goes through my blood, and I see where it comes from. Wow, talk about genetics. It's crazy. But obviously, there's certain traits that I did take. I'm thinking about what I did do for my father. I guess I appreciated my dad always talked about solitude. He always talked about wanting to, go off somewhere, live out in the woods or stuff. I personally would love that myself. I would like to have a very simple kind of life as much as possible. If I could grow my own fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, that would be awesome. I think I like the simplicity of his lifestyle. Now, some people would like, well, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I like glamorous stuff. Don't get me wrong. That's one of the reasons why I posted this picture. Isn't it cute? Now, on this picture, she's wearing like a blue dress with these white gloves. And I kept thinking, I always wanted a black evening gown with gloves similar to that, and that was the only picture I could find to use as my little thumbnail or whatever you call it. But anyway, yeah, so anyway, the downloads I've been getting is obviously I know that I have more subscribers. I don't just have subscribers on YouTube, I have them on TikTok and everything, but I'm not able to see them. And I know that part of the program is to keep you isolated from people. And so, I don't really see anyone I used to know. Of course, given the issue that blew up, I kind of cut ties with people. But they do this because, I do believe that people on the higher up level feel as though I'm supposed to be associating with other people, like meaning like possibly celebrities, okay? I guess so. I will say this about celebrities. Now, I do these celebrity shout outs, and I am sincere when I say them and acknowledge them, but I am not the kind of person, I've never been the kind of person who like flips out and like makes celebrities uncomfortable when I see them. You know what I mean? Because I've always, well, I would say when I got to be around, I don't know, like 19 years old, I realized that they didn't like, they wanted their own downtime. You know what I mean? They didn't need sometimes. I kept thinking it seems rude and intrusive to absorb their time. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to make sure that I was never one of those people who disrespected their space. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I've always acknowledged the fact that they had great skills, whether that be in acting or singing or whatever like that. So so if I was to see someone like famous, which I've seen several people in the past, I was not the kind of person that would just like rush them and like mob them or anything like that. Also, I did grow up with my mom. I remember she would send me to the grocery store, and she would want me to get the Star and the Inquirer, and I just, oh God. I don't know why that bothered me so much. Because I respect the celebrities' lives, and I also respect the life that I have in front of me. I mean, and what I mean by that is like, I felt like my mom kind of needed to get a life, but I mean, what I'm saying is, some people can get obsessed with stars so much to the point where they like, But I guess that's the beauty of it, because in some ways stars inspire you to be better. You know what I mean? Um, you know, some people, I would say growing up, seeing people like Madonna, I thought she was great, and she was another one who inspired me to, you know, get interested in clothes. I always was interested in clothes, but like, you know, throwing things together that not necessarily was meant to match, but it might have had some sort of, maybe, I don't know, maybe she just looked cool to her and she was being original. I don't know what it was, but I appreciated the fact that she, you know, mixed matched her clothes. She wore one earring at times, and I was like, I never even thought about that. You know, it's like a completely different way of wearing things. I like that, you know. And yeah, in my way, a lot of ways, you know, I obviously do cherish the stars. You know, I hate it when we lose one. Like, you know, there's been certain people who we've lost recently, and it really makes you think. It's like, man, I remember seeing this person all my life, and there is an attachment there. There definitely is an attachment to when you see someone that you care about in some way. I mean, they're you like them a lot, and you know, want them to stick around for as long as they can, you know. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate the stars. I'm just not somebody who wants to interrupt them. And perhaps maybe that was a way of me telling me, it was a way of like the universe telling me the reason why you don't do that to people like that is because you might be in some way one of them yourself, you know. So anyway, I also got the message that officials approve of me, and they are okay with my influence that I have, and I appreciate that, because I have come to realize in this world you basically have to justify yourself for every goddamn thing. You know, even I love this country, but you know, it's not so much the guidelines of these laws and these amendments. I mean, yeah, I guess you call amendments and stuff. It's not that, and we have this great place that was established for our freedom. But you know, I say, you know, American citizens can get a little bit um, forgetful about what our country is supposed to be, and people start turning on each other and that kind of crazy stuff, and that's unfortunate. But you know, I appreciate that. I have always had respect for earthly authority, mainly because there it was somewhere, I believe, in the divine plan, people are where meant to be, where they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? For whatever, for good or bad or whatever, it's a part of the divine plan. Now, I keep getting this issue about me being born in Africa or being born in, when I say Africa, I'm meaning like either in Ethiopia or Egypt, okay? And then I also get the feeling that perhaps maybe I was born in the UK. And sometimes, you know, in my experience with meditation and these downloads, sometimes, you know, things don't get revealed right away. Like they don't get revealed right away. Like I just recently found out that I'm related to. It's so crazy. So I am not at this right now. I do not know for sure if I was born in the UK or I was born in over there in Africa. So I don't know for sure. You know, I'm hoping that'll get revealed, but it might not even be relevant. You know what I mean? All I know is that I basically been I have been trafficked all my life. Okay, let's be humorous about this issue for just a minute. Okay, I mean, you know, and I get it. You know, I think you guys are like really weird, but okay, okay. I'm not gonna make any ruffle any feathers or anything like that. I get it. It's big. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it for what it is. So I'm not gonna say too much, and I don't think it's necessary to. But yeah, you know. Um, I guess, you know, how it works. I kind of explained how the birth certificate issue works. It's just basically people using, you know, some information, and then it passes through. The person who's, you know, verifying the information or whatever passes through, and they accept it as a regular birth certificate. So it isn't legitimate birth certificate. It's just probably the credentials that were used to obtain that birth certificate were probably fake. Okay. Hey, you know, I think everybody knows that. So we're moving on. Yeah, so other people want me to talk about the magic in food. Yeah, food. Every everything that we eat and consume in our bodies and I will give more lessons on my Patreon channel and go over the different fruits and vegetables and even animal meat and stuff like that, breads, whatever. I will be talking about that a little bit more. But yeah, everything we have in life has an energy. It has a vibration, and there's certain things. There's certain things um, about plants. They're all meant for certain things. They heal in their own way. They could provide. They could serve as aphrodisiacs. They could increase your concentration. In all things. Even certain plants are meant to produce a vibration around your home to attract prosperity. I remember my dad used to talk about that when I was a kid. He liked marigolds, right? For example, marigolds have energy that attracts wealth or attracts, yeah, it's gold. You'll notice that a lot of things that represent what they're meant for have a certain shape or they have a certain color. I will go more into that, but I get the feeling that a lot of people want me to cover that topic. I will say I'm starting my Patreon channel, and I have like about 3 video scripts written out. I have to do the filming, and I know I sound like a lazy person, and I'm ashamed to say that I'm not lazy. I'm just really deeply meditative, and when I get like that, it's like, how can you concentrate on anything when you find out? This whole thing has been very like, oh my God, you find this out, and then oh my God, you find this out, and then it just goes all the way down the line. It blows my mind. Okay, it's very mind blowing to find out that you kind of live in a Truman Show, really. But anyway, people think I'm powerful. Like another mention. I wanted to mention that the social parties and gatherings that are around me. I mentioned this before in my last video. I think that's kind of funny. I'm sitting here all by myself, and everybody's having fun, talking about Maria and her weird psychic powers. But I hope you guys are having a great time. So anyway, let me see. Yeah, I already mentioned. Yeah, I do believe that my parents are at peace. It does kind of make me a little sad. Because like I said, you wake up one day and you're a completely different person. You know what I mean? I'm a completely different person. What I mean by that is like, I thought that they were my parents, and I had these horrible siblings that were related to me by blood who hated my fucking guts. You know what I mean? And I couldn't quite get it. I mean, I understand that they kind of resented the fact that they thought I was kind of, dorky. To them, it was dorky. Like I remember going to this yogurt place a long time ago, and I was with I think my sister and one of our friends, and they were being really gross with the yogurt. They were really just so disgusting with the yogurt, and I remember saying, "Oh, that's repulsive, right?" And then they started mocking me. So like, if I said things that sounded a little out of their vocabulary, they would get angry. It's like everybody fucking hated my guts for every goddamn thing, Anyway, yeah. So I guess that's just how it is. But anyway, yeah. So what else do I want to cover? Oh yeah, I did mention in my last video, or one of, I don't know, this was the last video or the video before that. I was basically saying I was upset because I realized that my parents did struggle in their um, time raising me, and having me in their home and being a handful, and um, and I mentioned that I felt as though they should have been compensated more. Now, I don't know what happened on the back end or whatever. These people are like sitting pretty, millions the rest of their life. I don't have fucking any idea. And I don't want to, because I don't like to focus on my ex-family. It really brings me down. The whole thing brings me down, okay? So, and it's probably not relevant to the rest of my life, so it really doesn't matter. But I felt upset because I feel like I feel kind of responsible for ruining my mom's happy view of her life. Like, when I mentioned that I saw her old letters that she wrote to my dad, and they were very loving, and she seemed like she wanted to be like a happy mother, blah 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 blah. And then I keep, I guess there's a guilt. There's a guilt feeling, and God knows I had nothing to fucking do with this. Not like I sat there and said, "Hey, I want to go to the Gordon family." I had no control over that whatsoever. But at the same time, it's like human life is so short, and I feel like my parents didn't get to enjoy it um, the way that I think people should. People should be able to be happy, and I feel like I kind of feel responsible for their misery at times, but I don't know. That's life, but at the same time, it's like, man, someone's life got wasted, and that's one of the reasons why I look back on my life and I think, my gosh, this whole thing is just like sucked up so much of my life, and this is one of the reasons why I'm very selfish with my time, because people have abused me so much and taken advantage of me so much. It's almost sickening, I'm not trying to raise argument or anything like that, but you gotta understand my attitude is just like, um, all my life is just like people have just ran over me. You know what I mean? And maybe it was part of the plan to do so. I really don't know, but whatever. Anyway, also I got a message that if I threw a party, a lot of people would come, and that would be like really cool, but my furniture looks like crap. I really wouldn't want Beyonce sitting on my shitty couch, but hey, if I moved to a better place, hey, I would definitely invite everyone, and maybe I'd be able to wear that dress I've dreamed of so long. Now, going back to Diana Ross. Now, Diana Ross, I am extremely happy to be related to her. Please understand, Miss Ross, that I have no intentions of coming around asking for money or any special flav papers or try to ride on the coattails of your name or anything like that. I don't want anything from you, but I'm very grateful to be related to you, and my mind's blown away, and it just kept chipping away and chipping away, and then I had this thought, this thought flash went through my head. It was like, okay, I understand how this whole thing works. Okay, so I am the spawn of Prince Alamejo, right? I'm hoping I'm saying that name right. Anyway, so that's who I am. And then I kept thinking, okay, this has got to be big, right? Because this whole thing is blowing my mind. I kept thinking, what else is next? I kept thinking, okay, I bet you Diana is somehow linked to Cleopatra. And see, you know what I hate about every thought that I have could only make me look crazy, right? Because I'm on that level, okay? And unfortunately, when you're dealing with gang stalking, perps try to take advantage of that shit because they know everything that comes out of your mouth sounds far-fetched. You're like, oh yeah, Maria's crazy, but fuck no, I am not crazy, okay? I understand. I am so grateful to have Cleopatra's blood running through my veins. That is so awesome. And then going back to the whole thing about compensation, okay, I'm not trying to complain. I'm very grateful. There's been people who've told me, several times, especially in my mobbing process. I've had some girls that would come up to me. They're so fucking jealous. They would come up to me, and I had no idea what they were talking about. They would say things like, "You have everything," like like as if don't complain that you're being bullied. You have everything, and I'm thinking, I guess now I do have everything. I'm fucking got royal blood. You know what I mean? That's not bragging. It's not. But other people knew this, and I had no idea. I had no idea that any of this stuff was going on. I just thought that my family was like carrying on their schoolyard bullshit, and they just, escalated. I had no idea. Fuck my God, it blows my mind. So how can you expect me to not just like sink into my couch and just like with my mouth wide open and just like, man, it's a lot to take in. It is a lot to take in. Also, people believe and probably acknowledge the fact that I am always connected to the universal forces. Absolutely not. I still don't know if I'm born in the UK or Africa. You know what? It probably doesn't matter. Also, The other message that I'm getting is that companies are willing to help in the effort of to stop blacklisting. I don't know which companies are participating in that or providing training or information on that. I think pretty much everybody in the world has been educated on the foolishness of blacklisting. But I'm really glad that people are starting to wake up to this issue. I understand my situation, but there's a lot of homeless people who are basically homeless because of this issue. So for people to be taking this seriously, hopefully everywhere on the earth, um, hopefully everywhere on the earth, I think that's wonderful, and that means a lot to me because, um, you know, um, I know that there are people who have children, who have um, who have families to feed. There's a lot of single women out there who are struggling to take care of their children, whether they have been married and done everything the right and proper way, or they were just being naive and got themselves in trouble and they're raising a child. Whatever the case is, they have the right to correct their mistakes. They have the right to build their lives. They have the right to live. And I think it's really important that people start paying more attention to that. And for the companies who are actively what do you call it, enforcing these procedures or whatever about blacklisting, I think that's wonderful. And I also think it would be good, if people did adapt the anti-bullying policies in their workplaces, because bullying is a part of the whole little game that they play, and it's very damaging. Okay, and usually the bullying and the blacklisting kind of go hand in hand. So I don't see any reason why the anti-bullying shouldn't be something that's discussed, at least considered in the workplaces. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you for supporting me on my channels, even though I can't see the numbers. I already know. I talked about. I know that there's like private chat rooms talking about me, and there's celebrities in there. There's people that I used to go to school with that's in there. There's people I used to work with. And you guys are just like, you guys are weird in your approach, but whatever. Moving on. Be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye bye.